A couple of times now, there have been sisters, consecrated sisters, who have come to St. Monica to give missions. They're part of a group called the Apostles of the Interior Life. And I've known that community for many years. The founder of the community is a priest named Salvatore Scorsa. And I got this story from him. So I know who he is. He has a lot of credibility with me. But you can make up your own mind on the story. It's an interesting story. It's about Padre Pio. So Father Scorsa has a friend named Mario. And Mario is the one that told Father Salvatore the story, so I have this secondhand. But Mario was a young man in the Italian Navy after the Second World War, late 40s, early 50s. And he was based at a naval base in Bari, which is in the heel of the boot of Italy, down there south on the Adriatic. And Mario and some of his other sailor friends had a day of liberty, and so somebody said, why don't we go see Padre Pio? Padre Pio lived in a town not too far away from that. Now, every Italian would know who Padre Pio is. He was a Capuchin friar, Franciscan. He was a miracle worker. He was a healer. He could read minds. He could bilocate. He was just really strange things happened about Padre Pio. That's why people wanted to go see him. So Mario was not very religious, but why not? Let's go see him. So they traveled to San Giovanni Rotondo, which is a small town in southern Italy where Padre Pio's friary was, and they said, we're going to go to Mass. We'll see him at Mass. So there they were, and there was this packed congregation because Padre Pio by that time had become a well-known saint, living saint, and people wanted to see him. So he was coming out of the sacristy, but rather than go straight to the altar, he waded through the crowds and he went straight up to Mario. And he took both of Mario's hands in his own and he said, Mario, these hands will be put into the service of the Lord. And then he walked away and started Mass. And Mario was kind of left dumbfounded. That's weird. Padre Pio knows my name. And especially the idea that these hands are going to be put to the service of the Lord, because Mario had his own plans of what his life was going to be like, and it really had nothing to do with God. Later, I don't know how long, but he was in Rome, sitting in the back of a church, Mario. And he heard this voice inside himself. Mario, get up and move now. Again, that shocked him. What's that all about? And Mario, get up and move now. And somehow he was given the ability to recognize, even though he'd only heard it once, that was Padre Pio talking. Mario, get up and move now. So he got up and he moved. Again, it's just kind of shaking. And a chandelier from the roof came and smashed down right where he was sitting. And he's, again, not surprisingly perhaps, he started thinking about life, asking some big questions. Eventually, he ended up in the seminary. See, I think I'm called to be a priest. So years later now, Mario related, now a priest, he decided to go back to San Giovanni Rotondo and see Padre Pio's Mass again. So there he was, another packed crowd. Padre Pio, now this 10, 12 years later, coming out, moved through the crowds again and standed right in front of Father Mario, and again took both of his hands in his own and said to him, so you thought Padre Pio was crazy. Don Mario, these hands will be put into the service of the Lord for priests. And when Mario got back to Rome, he was a priest of the Diocese of Rome. It was announced that he would be made the vicar for priests of the Diocese of Rome. He was going to take care of the priests of the diocese. So again, you can believe that story or not, but again, I know the source of who told it me, so I have some credibility. I believe it. But regardless, in light of the story, I think what I took there is the idea of service, that these hands of ours are meant to serve someone. They're supposed to serve our life. And so the question is, really, whom will we serve with our hands, with our lives? whose servant are we? So there's a famous great Catholic theologian from the 20th century. His name was Hans Urs von Balthasar. And like many, he was a great theologian, but he was also a very cultured man, knew all the literature of society, that thing. And so just like Shakespeare and many others, he saw life as a great drama, as a play. That we're in a play. And the question was, for von Balthasar, who's the hero of the play? Who's the protagonist? Who's the center of the play? And Balthasar said there's two choices, really. Ultimately, it really comes down to two choices. Because we do seek happiness through service. But do we serve ourselves, or are we going to serve Jesus? So what I mean by that is that von Balthasar said life can be put into we can be lived two different ways. We can either live our lives as an ego drama, where I am at the center of my life, and I serve myself. And in the world, that makes perfect sense. Why not? This is my life. I'm going to serve. I'm working for myself and my own happiness. Or we can live in the theodrama, as von Balthasar says. The theodrama is where God is at the center of the story, Christ is at the center, and I serve him by serving others. That's how I serve. So I can either serve myself, I can serve Christ and others. And ultimately, the question is, again, whom shall I serve? So this is the question that's before James and John. They're not St. James and St. John at this point, obviously. We heard about it in the gospel. They are followers of Jesus. And in fact, you see, I left my family, I left my profession, I'm on the road with Jesus. I'm one of the 12. I'm one of his picked apostles. And yet, they're both still living in an ego drama. What's in it for them? They're living for themselves. They're in the ego drama. Teacher, we want you to do whatever we ask of you. Grant that in your glory we may sit one at your right and the other at your left. And it's not like James and John are the only ones in the ego drama. The rest of the other 10 apostles, they're upset just because James and John got their request in first. They want to do it too. They all want that left and right seat to the great, great king. And that's us. We're torn. Even especially, I think, us who are in the church. We're torn too, just like James and John. Who are we living for? We're tempted to live for ourselves and for our own glory. And the world says that's fine. It makes sense. If there's no God, why not? That's perfectly logical. So how do we get out of the ego drama? First, we have to realize there's an alternative. Again, if we don't believe in God, then that doesn't make any sense. The theo drama doesn't make any sense. Theo, God, drama. So we have to realize there's an alternative. So Jesus, and when he talks about his kingdom come, he's talking about something much bigger than me and any sort of personal glory I might get out of this world. There's something more on offer here. So Jesus is offering all of us a role in the theodrama. And from the world's perspective, this doesn't look like a good deal because in the theodrama, Jesus is the leading actor. We have supporting roles. Whereas in the ego drama, I'm the hero, so to speak. But what kind of play is it? So the theodrama, he's at the center, and we can only see the possibility of a God-centered theodrama if we have faith. So what's faith? Faith is the power to know God and believe in his word. To know that God exists and that we can believe in his word. And that there is a Savior, Jesus Christ, divine and human, and he loves us each personally. He died for us each personally to give us a chance to live with him forever in heaven, this state of a being where we can share the very life of God. And that's the purpose and the meaning of our lives and of the universe. And that's the theodrama. It's dramatic because we have to play our role, well or not. It makes all the difference. We're playing for eternal stakes. So I'm not just a bit role or supporting friend. I am part of this universe-wide story. So this faith is something that we don't earn. It's not something we can deserve. It's a gift given to us. This gift is a gift. This faith is a gift. And yet we have to accept it. We can't earn it, we can't grab it, but we can accept it, and we have to. So that's the second step. First step of getting out of the ego drama is realizing there's another option. And the second one is accepting it and saying, yes, I will participate in the drama. And so we have to respond to the gift of faith, and a gift requires a thank you. I know growing up, I don't like to write thank you notes, but my mom says if you get a gift, you thank the giver. That's the way it works. So again, the idea, faith requires a response. As Padre Pio told Mario, these hands will be put into the service of the Lord. My life and my happiness are not about how much or what I can get for myself. That's James and John. That's our thinking. What can I get? My life is meant to be a thank you note to God for creating me and for calling him to himself and offering me a share in his own life. And I do that by thanking God, by serving him in others. So who do we serve? Here's what whoever wishes to be great among you will be your servant. What does that mean? Does it mean to become a priest? Does it mean to become a missionary? This is Missionary Sunday. Well, not exactly necessarily. But this is by the way, the plug. Next week is Stewardship of Talent Sunday, where we ask you to donate your time and efforts in some way around this parish. Help out. So let's ask ourselves, these hands of ours, these lives of ours, whom have we served up to now? And we might say, I'm serving God. Well, okay. What response is this gift of faith from God drawn from me? Can I show him any service rendered, any task undertaken, any burden carried, any difficult relationship maintained simply because he wanted it, and I'm willing to give it? So, am I living in my own ego drama? This is a big question today. Am I living in my own ego drama? Because if I am, I got to get up and move, or it's all going to come crashing down someday. The ego drama doesn't end well. True happiness and glory are found in serving God in others in the great theodrama. The drama whose hero is not me or you. It's he who came not to be served, but to serve. So when he's asking us to be servants, he's not asking us to do something he hasn't already done. He served us and he died for us. I'll serve you by giving up my life for you. Now you imitate me and you give up your life for the service of other people. Because he's the hero, the one who came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for me and for you.